This is probably epic news. EA actually doing something good. Hello, and welcome to Gamer Weekly. Thanks for stopping by this week. In the world of video game news, we have a couple big things that happened this week. First of all, Sea of Thieves launch issues being addressed. We have Michigan State University that's producing a video game to combat pipeline development. We have EA doing something good for a change. Monster Hunter took #1 spot in the month of February. That's 2 months in a row. We have Rolling Stone saying some absolute garbage about video games. We have NPCs that are going to get really smart, really fast, really quick. In our Cosplay Corner, we have Karolina Sosnowski from Poland. And lastly, we have facial animations that are going to get an unreal boost this coming year. Jumping right into it with the Sea of Thieves launch, developers addressed issues within the first 24 hours of launch. And amongst a lot of issues that they were having, the biggest one was that players simply could not connect to games. And the response from Rare was mildly hilarious, and I kind of mildly expected it because it is a Microsoft IP. They did not anticipate the amount of usage and demand for the game. With over 1 million unique subscribers in the first 24 hours of launch, Sea of Thieves is looking to be one of the games of the year. We'll definitely be looking at unseating Monster Hunter in the upcoming months as one of the top-selling games. In the state of Minnesota, a representative is passing a law to enforce more regulation and oversight into legacy funds and how they're spent. Apparently, a University of Michigan professor made a video game and spent a little over $3,200. And the purpose of the video game is to create awareness as to why indigenous people in the United States don't like pipelines. I mean, the motives are in such a good place, I can't say anything more, and I'm just going to move on. This is probably epic news. EA actually doing something good. In reality, this should have been our top story of the week, but what's going on with the Unreal Engine is so phenomenally mind-blowing that this got demoted to the 3rd spot. Karen Stephen, who heads up the accessibility department over at EA, and yes, they have an accessibility department, for the last year or so has been working on accessibility issues for blind people playing Madden. Apparently she was approached directly by a blind person who, after a recent type of patch to the game, had complained about the game not being as playable and accessible for them. So what they did was they started insinuating different vibrations into the controllers to instruct blind players that different things were happening on the screen. And then they built an accessibility portal that's fully vocalized for blind people to use. It helps them with registration, explain certain components of the games, how games are played, and then they started a foundation to actually make this a movement inside the industry. And I just gotta say, I hate EA. I just hate them, and it pains me to have to tell you this story because it's such a good story. In our Cosplay Corner this week, we have Karolina Sosnowski from Poland, and I hope that I said her name correctly. This cosplay artist is utterly phenomenal. Her work is so diverse. She has such a span and a range. There are times when she is so androgynous. She comes across masculine when she's doing masculine cosplay, when she's doing male cosplay. It's incredible. The detail of the art that she's performing is phenomenal. Please take a moment to go check her out. Description as always, and the links down below. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Just take a moment to hit that like button and that subscribe button to let us know that you enjoy and appreciate what we're doing so we can continue to do it. In short form this week, we have 3 quick stories. Monster Hunter hitting #1 again for the 2nd month in a row. Really kind of expected. We should look into March, potentially April, to see if Sea of Thieves kind of unrest Monster Hunters from that position. Also, we have EA's branch called Search for Extraordinary Experiences Division, or SEED, that is coming up with different algorithms to actually create intelligent learning NPCs in FPS games, which is going to totally change the way that we play FPS games if this is something that can actually work out. And lastly, Rolling Stones published an absolutely marvelous article, and I'll put a link in it down below, about how video games are not an accurate representation of what war is really like. And then they brought a bunch of veterans in and tried to explain it to us. And yeah, I think that literally Rolling Stones could have published that sentence. Video games are not accurate to real war. And that would have been just as informative because we all know this. Thank you, Rolling Stones. Moving on. Our last story of the day is about Epic Games, Unreal Engine, and a program called Siren that they've been working on with 4 or 5 different companies for the last couple years, and is going to be debuted at GDC 2008 at the Vicon booth with that company. And it is this phenomenal software. What you're seeing right now on the screen is actually a clip of the software, and that is not a human being. What that is that it's a real-time rendering of a human being actress in another place. And it's capturing all those details at such an amazing speed and such amazing detail. It's phenomenal, and it's going to change the face of video games as we know it. Because we all know when the technology comes out, it's super beta, we're learning, it's clunky, it's not as efficient or effective as it can be. This software is going to totally change the way that we see video games, and it's going to totally change the narrative in which we're told stories. And I'm super excited to see this kind of thing. This is the next big jump. This is the next big jump. This kind of things and other things. Things like Seed and Siren. They're the push into the future. They're what our video games are going to look like. And they're the things that we've always dreamed of. You know, as a kid, Skyrim was something I never could have imagined. But by the time that I got Skyrim, it was like, this still does not fulfill the thing that I think video games can be. And so on that note, I'm going to leave you. Until next time.